In Chapter 10 of Attempt 13 of my FE6 Meh Units Only Ironman, we enter the coastline of Fabernia to seek an audience with the nobles who requested our aid in the first place. But not before we are accosted by a host of bandits and another eyeless man who wants to frame us as being part of the bandit forces attacking Etruria, to provoke further direct conflict. What faces us is two large forces of mercenaries and fighters with support from a ballista and a berserker mini-boss that block our way to the southern keep and eastern village. We start off by splitting our army up with Auge and Boars taking the central bridge to provoke most of the units and allow openings for Barthe or Wolt to help, while the rest of my sword units and the Lena take the eastern bridge to allow for more enemy phase counterattacks when possible. The rest of my units, including Lot, go west to waste the ammunition of the ballista while providing a foothold for my Swisher units to attack from range. On our first enemy phase, OJ keeps with tradition in giving me a heart attack by immediately taking an axe to the face and spiking my blood pressure as he dodges multiple follow-up attacks that could have killed him. But I am immediately put in a state of absolute calm when I see Boars casually being able to double mercenaries. Just beautiful. After the initial rush, I decide to aggressively attack with my units on the following turn to try to clear the first group of enemies, as there is a concern for saving the village in a timely manner. I also put Lilina exactly 3 tiles away from Roy to provide him a very meaningful B-tier support bonus for enemy phase. The main concern is the Killing Edge mercenary just past the bridge, which could just kill the run right now. But I did account for this and prepared Lot with his iron bow as a more welcome target. And thanks to Roy dodging the fighter, the mercenary doesn't see a clean kill without critting, forcing it to prioritize Lot. Pretty scary stuff, but it is the risk you have to take sometimes. With the first island cleared, I decide to promote Ellen as she capped her cleric level to allow her to continue to gain levels. Unfortunately, she cannot attack as lightning tomes aren't even available until the next chapter. But we do get access to a new unit just as we are laying claim to the second island. The unit in question is Geese, a pirate with overall decent stats for this stage in the game, but tends to be overshadowed by the unit that is released by the boss a couple turns later. He does have a Brave Axe available for us though, so that's nice. Once Geese arrives, a set of pirate reinforcements spawn on the fort west of my units. I place Fur and Auge on this side to deal with the pirates easily enough, while Boars swaggers to the central island and shrugs off every feeble attempt to stop him, allowing for easy cleanup with all my other units. Even the Berserker is helpless against Boar's golden pecs, and this allows us to claim the second island before the next recruitable unit shows up near the boss. The unit in question being Gonzalez, who can only be recruited by Lilina. Gonzalez has an absurd stat spread for a unit that is only level 5. He only lacks skill to consistently hit, but with his base speed and great speed growth, he will have plenty of opportunities to hit. The reason for his bloated stats is due to him being an enemy unit at the start that receives hard mode bonuses, like any other enemy unit. He does show up on the B route as well, but lacks these crucial bonuses, often resulting in the community as a whole calling this variant Super Gonzalez. And I can't argue with that assessment. This unit was a character I also considered banning alongside Deke, but for now we will have to wait and see. With Gonzalez recruited, and a valuable sword reaver retrieved from the village, we make our way towards the last southern island and farm reinforcements for a few turns before turning our attention towards the eyeless druid guarding the keep. He wields a Nosferatu tome that heals the user equal to the damage he deals. Normally you can use Shanna for this boss, since Pegasus Knights tend to have high resistance, speed, and overall good strength, but we obviously can't do that. So the only approach we can go for is to tank all 20 uses of the tome before using the ancient strategy of mauling him with a mosh pit of people. This once again takes numerous turns to complete, but we make it out with no one dying and receiving a worm slayer for our troubles. Good job, guys! In Chapter 11 of Attempt 13 of my FE6 Meh Units Only Ironman, we join the Resistance in uprooting the corruption on the Western Isles. This map is one of the more difficult chapters, as there are multiple side objectives to account for on a very tight time schedule. This includes saving all 8 villages scattered on the map, recruiting Klein using Roy on the southeastern corner of the map, and sending Klein to recruit Tate, who spawns at our starting location on the opposite side of the map. We must also escort the archers and Pegasus Knights that join these two up to the northeastern alleyway to get them safely off the map. Saving all the villages gives you a hero's crest, which we desperately need, as almost half my roster requires them. If we save the archers accompanying Klein, we receive an Orion's Bolt, which is needed to promote Wolt or Dorothy, which would be amazing because we get a second one from one of the villages, allowing both archers to promote relatively soon. And if we save Tate's Knights, we get an Elysian Whip, which is a nice surplus to our war economy. There is also saving Echidna, the leader of the Resistance fighters, you know, the whole thing we did this for. But considering she is a pre-promote and a unit that isn't required for any of the bonus guidance chapters, I am not too pressed to save her. This could be quite tough considering how low our mobility is as well, but we are given a lifeline in the form of Laloum, a dancer. These units tend to just have good speed and luck for dodging, but the utility they give is priceless, as she can refresh a unit's turn each round, allowing for more flexibility for your stronger units. With this goal set and our units prepped, we split the army into 3 groups, with Lot, Gonzalez, and OJ taking the western route to the southern villages, Roy, Laloum, Boars, Wendy, Lilina, and Ellen taking the direct central path, and lastly, Fur, Geese, Dorothy, and Wolt taking the eastern route to hopefully remove pressure from our central forces and secure an opening for Klein and his archers to escape easily. The problem becomes almost immediate though, as I quickly notice how unnecessary Lot was on the western route and how much he was missed for helping the eastern group. Geese immediately loses most of his health on his first combat, and with Ellen well out of range, I can only use vulneraries to heal him or have him rescue units in need, making him essentially dead weight. This forces us, and our offensive, to be stalled out, allowing multiple units to get through to Roy and his group, causing a huge snowball effect. Where now, Roy cannot move up to recruit Klein in a quick manner as he risks dying potentially from the influx of units, which then delays Roy's group from stopping the brigands from destroying a village and delaying Klein himself from being able to head north to recruit Tate. This immediately causes us to lose the hero's crest and forces our northeastern units to be under heavy pressure from the fighters beyond the wall and Tate's squad, pincering them in a matter of turns. And in case it wasn't obvious, one of our loss conditions is now extremely vulnerable. The only viable option we can take is hopefully getting good crits from Fur to allow our northern units space to regroup with us. But of course, we only crit once out of 6 attacks that had a 40% crit chance and have to set up a risky formation. Not now, Echidna! We don't have time for you right now! Oh hey, Geese barely dodged that hand axe. Neat. And the archers we just recruited are now running it down mid lane like a true MOBA player. To say we are in an awkward position is putting things quite lightly. And with Tate's group quickly closing the gap, we have to try and position Klein and Laloum in a way that they can recruit Tate properly next turn, and pray no one dies. The only way I see that working out is to manipulate Tate towards where I want her by placing Fur in range of multiple Pegasi, which could be deadly, but in a lucky twist of fate, having archers also in range splits the feathered foes and mitigates any chances of Fur dying in this round. I take a moment to breathe a sigh of relief, thinking I had solved the problem and could at least salvage 2 of the 3 bonus rewards, but I had miscounted tiles for Klein's movement, considering the large amount of angles Tate could go, and I am 1 tile short of recruiting her to the team. The truly sad part is that if I moved Klein 2 tiles to the left before refreshing his movement, this turn I would have been able to reach Tate, but that is what happens when you go into autopilot, unfortunately. This now means I have to try and stall another turn of attacks, and my luck finally catches up to me as the Pegasi murder one of the green unit archers, and Echidna, in her infinite wisdom, kills off one of the Pegasus Knights, immediately losing us both the bonus rewards for the remainder of this chapter. Not gonna lie, this one kinda stung. But, gotta shrug it off. We still got the boss bishop and 2 sets of dangerous cavalry to deal with. The cavalry is simple enough, as I can use boars to block off the northern cavalry until the second set arrives in the south. We then use Tate to delay them from approaching our army for a couple of turns and funnel them down the 1-tile alleyway between the villages near the center of the map, while the rest of my army cherry picks enemies and slowly knocks out the boss bishop, resulting in Lilina getting her 20th level and nearly capping Dorothy's and Wolt's level as well. Pretty rough chapter for sure, and even though our economy is now in tatters after buying more equipment, we can at least say we won and no one important to the plot died. Yippee!